Well, hello, good morning, everyone. We still have some participants joining in as see the numbers ticking up as the seconds go by, but we'll go ahead and get started because we sure have a lot to cover today. My name is Katie Julian, and I'm a member of the Taxpayer Education Team at the Tennessee Department of Revenue Taxpayer Services Division. And we're so glad to have you with us today. We are excited to be doing these new business workshops again. We used to do these before COVID hit in person and have not had the new business workshops in the past couple of years. So this is our first time to ever do it virtually, and we're excited to be here with you. The purpose of having these workshops is to basically promote the importance for business owners to understand the various aspects of tax accounts. Obviously, if you own a business, you're good at what you do and you have a passion for a service or selling a product, but sometimes taxes are the last thing you want to think about. So we like to take some of the guesswork out of that. And if you are here, good for you. Hope you get a lot out of it. We do have a lot to cover. We could probably have about a week-long workshop to cover everything that would need to be covered to get it all taken care of, or probably even more than that. But we're going to do our best to cover the basics and give you an overview that's well-rounded. We also want to tell you that we are here for you at the Department of Revenue. What we really take a lot of pride in our customer service. If you call our call center, you're going to get a person. If you email us, you're going to get a quick reply. I'll preface that with also saying that on April 15th, or this year it'll be April 18th because 15th falls on a holiday. It might be a little longer than usual, but other than that, year-round, we will get back with you fast. We'll answer your questions when you call, and that's another reason why we want to do these educational events, is just to let you know that we want to assist you, because we know it can be difficult to understand all this stuff. So I am joined today by my boss and friend, Billy Trout, manager of taxpayer education, my friend Lisa Russo, who's a manager over our Eastern Division in Tennessee, and my assistant director, Dan Vinson. Dan, did you want to say a few words before we get started here?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for taking part in this webinar. You made a really good choice this morning. I'm confident this webinar is going to give you some of the tools that you're going to need to make your new business life much easier. So thanks again for coming, and thank you for paying attention.
Yes, definitely. Like Dan said, giving you tools. Billy likes to say, we're here to show you all the tools that are in your tool chest. So we'll get to resources later along with all the information we're going to give you. So with that, I wanted to also let you know we do have a participant guide. And if you scroll up in your chat, you'll see a link posted to the participant guide. It's a copy of all of the slides in this presentation with a little fillable area beneath each slide for you to take your notes. The first page has a jump to section area, and hopefully you can use that participant guide to add your own notes to this. And if you want to keep up with the questions you have along the way, we will be answering questions as we go through the morning. We're not going to be able to get through all the questions, but we'll get to as many as we can. If you have account-specific um, questions specific to your situation or to your account, we're just going to ask that you email those to us at revenue.support@tn.gov. Let's see here, make sure I've got everything else covered before we get going. Let's see. So with the structure of today, first we're going to go through some preliminary info about getting set up properly with all your tax accounts and with your business. Then Billy is going to go over business tax. Around that time, we're probably going to take a break after he gets done with business tax and we answer some questions right around 9:45. Then Lisa will give you all some information about sales tax. I'll be back to talk about franchise and excise and some other miscellaneous taxes, and then share some resources with you. We hope to be able to have time after business tax and after sales tax and at the very end to answer questions that you have. So put your questions into the chat. Make sure you choose on the drop down for two to all panelists, and we'll do our best to get to as many of the general questions as we can during this morning's session. So again, this is our first virtual new business workshop. We're hoping to have enough time to get to as many questions as possible. We'll see how that goes. So. All right, so diving right in here to where to start, other than obviously conceptualizing your business and getting started with your financing and uh, maybe involving some professionals in the process. We wanted to put some emphasis on the importance of choosing your entity type from the beginning because we see so many issues here at the Department of Revenue with businesses that kind of change their business types as they're getting started, and maybe you have a sales tax account start set up in your social security number, and then decide you want to be an LLC. So you go to the clerk's office to get your business license, and you give them your FEIN. Well, we just want to let you know here, determine that business structure from the beginning. Research the different types of business structures. Again, seek professional guidance if needed. An important question here is, do you need an EIN from the IRS? So for state account tax purposes, you are required to register a state tax account under an FEIN for corporations, partnerships, LLCs, business trusts. An FEIN is not required if you're a sole proprietorship for a tax account with the state of Tennessee. Same with marital joint accounts. Same with single member LLCs. We'll register those under a social security number. However, for other purposes, if you are a sole proprietorship or a marital joint, you may still need to get an EIN from the IRS if you have employees, for example. An EIN would be required. But let's see here. I think the next slide kind of breaks it down a little bit more for you. That's right. Yeah. Just basically saying here, register with all the different agencies, us, the IRS, Secretary of State, using the same entity type and entity ID number. So for us, for the Department of Revenue, for your tax accounts, if you are a sole proprietorship, like I just mentioned, you'll register that under your social. For marital joint, both members will join using their socials. For general partnership, corporations, LLCs, and trusts, and FEIN. And for single member LLCs, we can use a social security number or an EIN number there. Another big important question here is where to start and where to go. This is something that can be super confusing for people, especially because within even state government, there's so many different agencies to go to. Um, This is just a chart that will give you the basics on where to go for a business license. You'll start at your county and city clerk's office, and that is required for most businesses. There are a few exceptions, and Billy will go over those a little bit later, but most everyone that starts a business in Tennessee will need a business license. If you are going to charter or do your business registration, you'll do that through the Tennessee Secretary of State. They have a new website that makes that really easy for you. And that's required for partnerships, corporations, LLCs, and business trusts. For your EIN, your Federal Employee Identification Number, you will obtain that from the IRS, and you can do that on their website. I've been told that it's gotten really fast to receive that. So if you go to the IRS website or just Google IRS Federal Employee Identification Number, it'll take you right to the website where you can receive that EIN number. So another kind of confusing thing is that unemployment insurance and those taxes are handled through the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. So if you have employees or plan on having employees for your business, reach out to that agency. Like I said, that's going to be required if you have employees, payroll, reach out to Department of Labor. Some uh, some professions require a professional license. Those are actually handled through the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance. Certain professions such as contractors, cosmetologists, insurance agents, etc., you will go directly to the Department of Commerce and Insurance for those professional licenses. So all other Tennessee tax accounts are handled by us, the Tennessee Department of Revenue. And we will dive into all the different tax accounts and who they're applicable to here in just a little while. A little bit about state revenue and us. This is a breakdown, this pie chart you see here of state revenue. It's pretty small if you're looking at it on the screen, but if you have the participant guide, you can zoom in a little bit better. As you can see, the vast majority of revenue in this state comes from sales and use tax. That's a tax that everyone here in the state is going to pay, but that businesses will collect and then remit to us. The next biggest piece of the pie there is franchise and excise tax. And then all the other ones are kind of small. You'll see business tax is very small. I think about 2% there. Um, it takes up a lot of your time and our time as well, but pretty small piece of the pie when it comes to state revenue. How each sales tax dollar is spent, we're pretty proud of this. As you can see there, the majority is spent on education. I'd like to also say that there are a couple of different outlets that will report that Tennessee is ranked number 3 in the country for fiscal health, basically, compared to other states. And we are proud to say that we can be third in the country without having an income tax. Of course, so some of that burden of revenue in our state and having that great fiscal health here does fall on the business owners. But again, that's our purpose here, is to take some of the guesswork out of that and help you understand it so you don't pay a penny more than you need to, and that you understand what all needs to be done there. So the most common types of state tax accounts are business tax, which is applicable if you conduct business within any county or incorporated municipality in Tennessee. And again, with very few exceptions, it's for any business that sells goods or provides a service. So sales tax applies to the retail sale of tangible personal property, which we also refer to as TPP, and certain services. So the seller is liable for the tax, whether it's collected from the customer or not. Franchise excise tax is applicable for any corporation, limited partnership, limited liability company, or business trust chartered, qualified, or registered in Tennessee, or doing business in this state. And we will spend a little bit of time later, not much, but talking about some other tax types: liquor by the drink, tire tax, tobacco taxes. They're not as common and don't apply to as many of our businesses, so we don't want to spend a whole lot of time today on those. All right, I'm going to hand the reins over to Billy Trout now to start with business tax. Hey, Billy, let me pass the torch over to you here. Let's see.
All right, Katie, thank you very much.
All right, you're presenting now.
Okay, very good. Well, I want to tell everybody good morning also, and thank you, Katie, for the good introduction there. She went through quite a bit of information, and of course, we have a lot of information to give you through the rest of the morning. But one thing I want to just kind of reiterate that Katie had mentioned, and hopefully all of you guys get this, is that we are a tax agency. We are the state Tennessee Department of Revenue, and we're very glad to help you, and we're glad that you're here today. You're here today because you want to learn more about state taxes and what your obligations are with us. The one thing that we are not is we are not tax advisors. In other words, we can't tell you how to structure your business. We can't tell you how to invest money. We can't tell you how to make business decisions. This is up to you as the business owner, okay? But nevertheless, with the tax information we're able to give you today, we think we'll give you a real good basic start about getting started with a new business or a new business idea that you might have, and link you to some other resources and stuff like that. So with that, let me take the next few minutes and go through business tax and business licensing for you here. And you can follow along in your material or on screen. And again, we'll have these links and this recording posted on our website either later today or tomorrow. So basically, if you have a business license, you're going to pay business tax if you have a standard business license. We'll talk about some licensing issues in just a moment. But business tax is a gross receipts tax. And the rate of tax is very small. We'll show you the rates in a little while too. But each of the rates is less than 1%. So you're not tied down with a lot of obligation here and things like that. But basically, the minimum tax is $22 per location, as it says right here. And the filing is due on the 15th day of the fourth month following the fiscal year end. But this year, it is going to be on the 18th because of the fact that the 15th is actually a holiday. So you're given a few extra days there with the weekend smashed in the middle. Okay. But that's what business tax is in general there. It is that gross receipts tax, meaning it's a tax on your overall income. So let's talk about the different kind of business licenses that you might need. So for businesses that are subject to business tax, and we'll talk about some that are not here in a little while as well. If you make under $3,000 a year in gross receipts, again, this is your total take in, then there is no business license required. You don't have to get a business license at all from the county clerk or from the city where you happen to be located. Now, if you're between $3,000 and $10,000 in gross income, the smarter idea would be to get this thing called a minimal business license. Okay. And what